Let me start that again. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Disadvantaged Communities Advisory Group's January 19th, 2024 meeting. I'm Jana Gagnon, the DACAG Vice Chair. We'll start with roll call, and I'll read the names one by one. Adrian? Andres?
Here.
Fred? Jana is here. Roger? He'll be being a little bit later. Roman is not here today. Stephanie? Did we hear her? Oh, she had to, I'm sorry, she'll be joining in a minute. Got it. Elena?
Here.
Curtis? Julia?
Here.
And Sahara? Okay, we have 5, is that right, by my count? So we do not yet have a quorum, but we can move forward without a quorum until we have one. We just can't vote on voting items, obviously. So we'll turn to item 2, general public comment. Ling will provide meeting reminders and instructions. Ling, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Jenna. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ling Mu, support staff for DACAG and equity specialist at the California Public Utilities Commission. Supporting us today are my colleagues, Dorothy Maraimi, Amanda Krantz, Joe Kaka, as well as legal support from the CPUC and CEC, Vanessa Bowen and Renee Webster Hawkins. A few reminders. This meeting is being recorded and held both remotely and in person. Jenna, as the facilitator, will conduct roll call votes for items the DACA is voting on to ensure a clear record. We have enabled WebEx closed captioning feature to make this meeting more accessible. To use the closed captioning, press Ctrl+Shift+A or click on the bottom left CC icon. Once captions are turned on, attendees can click the 3 dots
Ling, I think you cut out just now.
Did we lose them? Because I think I saw the video go away also.
Did you lose us?
Can you hear us?
Now we can.
I can hear you now.
You can
But
hear
I
us now.
don't see the video though for.
Sorry, let's take a 30-second pause here. Sorry about that. Just some technical difficulties over here.
Okay, can you hear us now?
Yes.
So let me continue with the instruction, WebEx instruction for public comment. This public comment is an opportunity for attendees to give comments regarding any matters related to the DACA or today's agenda. Comments are limited to 3 minutes and 1 speaker per organization. We'll show a timer on the screen and it will alert you when your time is up. All comments will become part of public record. Please let us know if you would like to make a comment so we can call on you. For those on WebEx, use the raise hand feature like open palm. For those of you joining by phone, press *3 to raise your hand, then press *6 to unmute yourself. The chat feature is not available to attendees. It is solely for panelists to ask for technical, procedural, or legal support. So at this time, are there any public comments on any of the items that are on or off the agenda? Please raise your hand if you joined the WebEx through join through the WebEx, I can see you and unmute you. Checking hands here. No hands. Anybody in the room has any comments? Not from the room. Anybody call in? No. So back to you, Jenna.
Thanks so much, Ling. Great. Moving on to item 3, opening comments by the CEC and CPUC commissioners or their advisors. And I'd like to acknowledge the commissioners and their advisors joining us today. We welcome you and we thank you for your time. And please feel free to give brief remarks if you would like. I'll start with the CEC. Commissioner Monahan. I'm not sure that.
Commissioner Monahan is on vacation this week, and Commissioner Gardo will be joining a little bit later.
Great. Thank you so much. And we wish Commissioner Monahan a well-deserved vacation. Let's move to the CPUC. Commissioner Houck.
Thank you, Jana. I'll try and make my remarks quick, but I just wanted to note that we are continuing to move forward with a number of our broadband proceedings, our BEAD listening session. So just wanted to make sure folks know that if they have questions, they can reach out to us. We're also continuing to look at community engagement on that front, and we're hoping to release a proposed decision in our public housing broadband program very soon, and that will be expanding the folks that will be able to get access to that program. So wanted to put that out there. We're also doing a tribal consultation in our tribal rulemaking on tribal policies, and that'll be at the Hamul Village down in the San Diego area on January 30th. I hope and anticipate that we'll be releasing a staff proposal for amendments to the tribal land transfer policy and the tribal consultation policy in the next few weeks, and we'll be doing direct outreach to tribes across the state on that. We also have a decarbonization proceeding proposal that you'll hear about today, and I'm looking forward to talking with folks about process. Want to make sure that we're having the committee engaged as much as possible, but ensuring that it's as user-friendly as possible too. So looking forward to that discussion. And then hopefully at the next meeting or the one after, we'll be able to provide some additional information on the next steps in our climate adaptation proceeding. And just noting that I'm also sorry, there was one more comment. I was on our high DER proceeding, which we've done outreach here before on. We're going to be doing a series of workshops that GridWorks will be facilitating for us on looking at distribution system operator issues, and we'll send information about that to the group. The other areas are disconnections proceeding our community-based pilot program, where we will be looking at grant-based pilots for folks to help vulnerable communities manage their bills. In the past, what we've done is we've reimbursed, and we've had a series of meetings a couple of years ago about the need to be getting funding up front and having things more grant-based. So hopefully we'll be able to bring a presentation to that program to this group, or if there's any members that want more information, please reach out to our staff, and we'll figure something out to make sure you get a copy of the proposal and we present on it. But the proposal is designed to provide support to vulnerable individuals that are having a hard time being able to pay their electric bills, and getting them on payment plans and providing support. And the program is grant-based with funding up front, as opposed to decapitation program where you're looking at how many people you've served getting paid after the fact. So I know that we'd had a lot of conversations with this group and wanted to follow up that is out there, and want to make sure you're aware of it. And with that, I will conclude my comments.
Thanks very much. There's a lot of great topics to chew on there. I'm going to turn now to Courtney Vaccaro, and any updates from you, Courtney?
Good afternoon, Jana and members of the DACAG. No updates from our office. Commissioner Douglas sends her regards and her regrets that she was unable to attend today. She is out of office through the end of next week, but I'm pleased to be here today along with my colleague, Corinne Mandelbaum, on behalf of our office.
Terrific. Thank you so much. And we're glad you're here. And I want to say welcome to Adrian, who has joined us as well from the DACAG. So hi, Adrian. And let's now move to officials. If there's anyone else from either the CEC or the CPUC that want to give brief opening remarks, please raise your hand or speak up. All right, hearing none. We are still not at quorum quite yet, so we're going to skip over item 4, which would be the approval of a series of minutes. And we will go to item 5, which I'm looking for on my run of show, which is the presentation, if we're ready, if this time slot is okay with the people who are giving the presentation, of building decarbonization proceeding R19-01-011, phases 1 through 3, and upcoming phase 4. So CPU staff are here to present on the building decarbonization proceeding and receive feedback and discussion from the DACAG on the general direction of the proceeding. If we're prepared to do that, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
I'll try to speak a little bit louder. Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, saw some thumbs up. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Happy Friday. My name is Sebastian Saria. I am a member of the Building Decarb team here at the CPUC's Energy Division to talk about the Building Decarb proceeding. Before I get started, I want to thank Commissioner Houck and Commissioner Douglas for having us here to present on the very important work. I also want to thank you all for your dedication and commitment to the DACAG committee. I know that representation is very important, and I just want to mention that before I get started. So jumping right into it, here's a quick presentation roadmap. We'll get started with a brief snapshot on where we are on the building sector's emissions. From there, we'll jump into the deep end, our building decarb proceeding overview, and its different phases. As you can see here, we have 4 different phases, and don't worry, I will go through them very thoroughly in just a few minutes. And then,
Sebastian,
yes.
I think maybe they need to switch the slide to the next slide.
Next slide, please.
Yeah.
Thank you for the reminder, Commissioner. Thank you. So as I mentioned, just a quick snapshot on the building sector's emissions, then an overview of the proceeding as well as its various different phases, and then the ask for you all, which, as you can see here, it's asking for feedback today on your impressions on where the proceeding is going and what we have done. And also consider submitting a letter to Commissioner Houck's office and also to us, the Building Decarb team, as we start looking into phase 4, which is really the reason why we're here. This year, we're starting to think about what to incorporate into this phase 4 framework. Again, I will provide more detail later, but just wanted to provide you all with a quick roadmap and guiding post for what's to come. Next slide, please. So where we're at on emissions from the building sector, according to CARB's 2023 greenhouse gas emissions inventory, the building sector contributes to 14% of the state's greenhouse gas emissions. Obviously, we want to decarbonize all sectors, and the focus of it all today is on buildings. Whether small or big, we want to tackle that head on. Next slide, please. So, jumping into the deep end here, our building decarb proceeding was established in 2019 via SB 1477. SB 1477 directed the Commission to start looking at reducing greenhouse gas emissions from the building sector. That's pretty much the gist of it all. Once the commissions began the original scoping proceeding, it established these 4 different phases. Phase 1 was the establishment of 2 building decarb programs, right now known as TEC and BUILD. I will go into further detail on those later. The second phase was on addressing the impact of wildfires on Californians through the potential creation of a pilot program to address new construction. Phase 3, which is most recent, was to adopt measures to support Title 20 and Title 24. Just a quick snapshot, Title 20 addresses appliance standards, and Title 24 addresses building efficiency standards, all for the goal of creating programs and initiatives that will make it easier for updates in the future to Title 20 and Title 24 to address our electric. And then lastly, phase 4, which is the reason why we're here, is to establish a building decarb policy framework. Again, I'm getting a little bit ahead here, but the whole purpose is to take everything that we've learned from phases 1, 2, 3, and look into a phase 4 framework moving forward. Okay, let's get started with phase 1, and next slide, please.
Commissioner Houck raised her hand.
Commissioner Houck, I've noticed you have raised your hand. Happy to stop whenever is most convenient.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight when you were going over the different phases, and I think you're going to be doing this now, so I will let you finish this, but I think it would be good as you're talking about the Build and Tech program to maybe give some examples like the San Joaquin Valley pilots and how Tech was able to help out with being able to fund some of those projects.
Yes, perfect, Commissioner Houck. I have a slide dedicated to the SJV pilot. Great example and a great sharing of how Tech has made SJV DAC much better. Perfect. So phase 1, we'll get started with the TEC program first. So TEC stands for Technology and Equipment for Clean Heating Initiative. The basic gist of TEC is to transform the market for the adoption of heat pump, space, and water heaters. So we all have, or Californians mostly have natural gas water heaters, and we want to completely move that away and transform the market so the standard is heat pump, space, and water heaters. TEC is implemented via a third-party implementer under a contract with Southern California Edison with oversight from us. And I have 2 links here for you all. One is the techcleanca.org. This one is focused on more of the numbers, reporting, and for contractors. And then the more public-facing one that I would invite you all to check out is the Switches On website, switcheson.org. Check those out whenever you can, but there's a lot of great information there. Once you go in there, you can see that TEC focuses on reducing the cost of the appliance for customers via contractors. So I do want to note that TEC is focused on really driving installations through contractors, not directly through customers. Next slide, please. Let's move on to Build, who I call the cousin of TEC. BUILD is administered by the California Energy Commission, and BUILD is similar to TEC, but it differs because it focuses on new construction, while TEC focuses on existing, BUILD focuses on new. And it's the same way. It incentivizes all electric appliances such as heat pumps, and it's been very well so far. I have more slides down the line, given more information about BUILD, but TEC and BUILD have been the stalwarts of the building decarb pilots for phase 1. Next slide. Okay, so let's jump into the TEC equity update. So here are 5 points that TEC has focused on. One is single and multifamily incentives. So as I mentioned, this is to increase market demand for heat pump space and water heaters. Number 2 is quick start grants. This is to identify and fund innovative projects that are increasing heat pump adoption while supporting equity communities. And I'll give some examples down the line on these. Number 3 is workforce education and training. This is a new technology. Plumbers and electricians are not used to this new way of doing business, so we want to make sure that they're fully trained and able to move forward and get excited. Number 4 is financial support. Perhaps directly reducing the cost of appliances is not the best way to increase adoption of heat pump water heaters or heat pump HVAC systems. Perhaps there's alternative ways, and we'll provide some detail on that later. And then 5 is low-income integration pilots, This gets to the point of the San Joaquin Valley DAC pilot that Commissioner Hauk mentioned earlier. Next slide. Okay, so since December 2021 through December 2023, TEC has done upwards of 4,000, close to 5,000 installations for multi and single family homes in disadvantaged communities here in the States. Now, it may not seem like a ton of money, but believe me, the whole point is to transform the market, make it so they're doing this on their own, and through these incentives, that is our goal. So just a quick snapshot here on installations and spend. And next slide, please. Okay, so a quick snapshot on the TEC Quick Start grants. I won't go through every single detail here, but I will focus on 2. So the first one is the 350 Bay Area organization. They received a Quick Start grant from the TEC program. 350 Bay Area was provided 30 households with a good air purifier and a portable heating and cooling heat pump system. They focused on communities that had high air pollution, and so they wanted a quick way to make sure that they didn't have to wait a long time to get a heat pump, but rather go in and provide these incentives and these devices to them. The second example I'll focus on is Goodwill. This pilot is supporting workforce placement and preparation efforts in HVAC trades with a focus on heat pump technologies. Again, focusing on making sure that we find alternative ways to move forward with these new technologies. I will note that these pilots are ongoing, and we expect to conclude them sometime this year. So we don't have results on outcomes and impacts just yet, but it is exciting nonetheless. Next slide, please. Okay, workforce education. This is something that I am really passionate about, and I know that others within my team are passionate about as well. So 3 high-level workforce education efforts via TEC. One is the Heat Pump Water Heater Learn and Earn program. What this means is that participating contractors that are working with TEC may receive a free heat pump water heater unit by taking extensive training with the program. We have focused, and the TEC program has focused, that a good amount of these go to DAC areas. And so as you can see here, the percentage. Another one is we want to uplift the next generation, get them excited. So Tech has donated heat pump water heater and heat pump HVAC equipment. And as you can see here, they've been provided as an example to the Cypress Mandela Training Center in Oakland and to Fresno City College. And last but not least, local training. We want to make sure that where training for these new technologies are happening, they happen in high unemployment areas, and that those attendees reside in those areas as well. So we want to make sure that we focus on a just transition. Next slide, please. You got a quick drink of water. Okay, this one is very exciting. Financial support. So these are two examples. One is the Inclusive Utility Investment Pilot. Now, some of you may be wondering, what is IUI? And IUI enables a utility to pay for cost-effective energy efficiency or other clean energy upgrades at a customer site. The utility recovers these costs through fixed site-specific charges on the customer's monthly utility bill that is less than the estimated savings from energy bill reductions. But this basically means that customers who may not have the opportunity to get an incentive right away on their own are able to get these cost-effective measures through these IUI pilots. So it's a newish thing, and that's why we have a pilot that we want to try to see how it works. Second one is through the California, it's a long one, California Alternative Energy and Advanced Transportation Financing Authority, or CAFTA. Hopefully I pronounced that right. But this is basically providing loans that, again, to my earlier point, seeks out alternative measures of driving the market for these new technologies. Next slide, please. Okay. Again, I won't go through every single point here, but I want to highlight the first one, and then I will provide more information in the next slide. But Tech has also been extremely helpful because it's been able, it was created to be flexible enough to support other low-income pilots or programs, such as the San Joaquin Valley Disadvantaged Community Pilots. Through this measure, Tech has been able to supplement funding for this pilot, as well as others that you see here. Next slide, please. Okay, so here are two pictures of real life installations that happened through this pilot. And so as you can see here, Tech provided additional funds for remediation measures in the SJV pilots. So through the pilot itself, homes were limited to a remediation cost cap of $5,000. So if a home needed more cost than beyond the cost cap, Tech would kick in and ensure that those homes were able to participate. Otherwise, they couldn't. And so this was integral in making sure that residents in those communities were able to participate and enjoy these benefits. I want to pause right there and see, Commissioner Houck, if you wanted to add anything to this. I know this has been a very important topic, and I want to make sure that I cover that all.
Yeah, no, thank you, Sebastian. This is great. I just wanted to make sure we're highlighting this because, you know, as all of you are very well aware, in order for us to meet our clean energy goals, we need to ensure vulnerable communities are also able to decarbonize their homes. And we've got a huge number of existing housing stock in this state that's going to need to be decarbonized and it's not cheap to do that. And so this is a real issue that we can't fall behind on, and we have to make sure we're embedding equity into all of our programs. And these are just two programs where we're providing examples of how we're trying to make sure that happens. And these are going to be really critical programs as we move forward with looking at how we're going to meet those goals for these existing housing stock, particularly for vulnerable communities. So we also want to explore and look at ways to make sure we get input from this group on how to ensure that equity is being embedded in these programs as well. And there is going to be a workshop I'll just plug coming up that PG&E is going to be doing, that's going to be looking at electrification of homes and billing issues. The San Joaquin Valley pilots had special provisions put on regarding ensuring that there were bill caps so that the bills would be affordable once the homes were electrified. And so we'll send that information out to this group as well if anyone's interested in listening in on that workshop, because it's going to be coming up, I think, later this month. I'll turn it back to you, Sebastian.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Next slide, please. So just a quick snapshot on BUILD. As I mentioned, BUILD is administered by the Energy Commission. But nonetheless, just wanted to provide some helpful information here. BUILD has a budget of $80 million, of which 100% has been dedicated to low-income housing. Right now, the BUILD program is mostly multifamily buildings. And I won't go through what the decision says here in terms of what is a definition for low-income multifamily building. But as you can see here, it's been underlined: disadvantaged community, low-income community, and at least 80% of households living in a building with incomes at or below 60% of the area median income. The next slide will provide just a quick snapshot on where developments are at the moment. So next slide, please. Now I know the map here is a little bit small, but again, it's meant to be a snapshot. Basically, 107 projects are in development. Once again, these are new construction, of which 7 are in completion. And again, just as a quick recap, BUILD is different from TEC as it focuses on new construction, but it still provides incentives for all electric appliances. One thing to note here that was noted in when phase 1 was first created is that if funds reserved for low-income residential housing are unspent after 2 years, the BUILD program administrator, or in this case the CEC, may come to you all, the DACAG or the Low-Income Oversight Board, to address any barriers. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I wanted to highlight that. Next slide. Now, moving on to phase 2. Again, a lot of text here, but I wanted to give you all a full background, and I'll just summarize it real quick. Phase 2 was focused on creating a program that would address wildfire and natural disaster impacts on customers. This program is in development, and I have a slide up next which tells you about a quick update. Next slide, please. So Wonder, which is the name of the program, is expected to launch in Q1 of this year. As you can see here, it has definitions for what is a impacted household and equity customer, but we expect to get more information on that. We have dedicated staff that are diving deep into this, but we think it's very important and very exciting, as wildfires is very much today's problem for climate change, and we want to make sure that we're ready for that. Next slide. Excuse me. Okay, phase 3, which focuses on supporting Title 20 and Title 24. So I mentioned Title 20 focuses on appliance standards, and Title 24 focuses on building energy efficiency standards. The whole big picture goal is to pass measures that encourage builders to take concrete steps to help decarbonize buildings. So we have had 2 phases, or 2 sub-phases within the broader phase 3. Phase 3A focused on eliminating gas subsidies funded by ratepayers to construct new buildings hooking up to gas lines. So this is all part of an effort to disincentivize the construction of gas in new construction. Following phase 3, we passed phase 3B just last month. This one focused on furthering that effort in that where there is a building that is being built with gas, it would not receive subsidies for electric line extensions. So basically, we would take subsidies from both gas and electric, meaning that we are only incentivizing all electric new construction, not gas, not mixed fuel, all electric. And in future options, the Commission, may consider treatments of costs associated with electric distribution system upgrades triggered by residential or non-residential here, consistent obviously with existing regulation. And then last but not least, moving on to our final slide. Next slide, please. Is phase 4. Phase 4 is the reason why we're here, which is we want to establish a building decarb policy framework. Now, this is just getting started for this year. And as you can see here from the original order instituting rulemaking for this proceeding, the Commission outlined this purpose. I won't read the whole text, but I'll read what I highlighted for you. Or the text in the middle, which says the Commission would draw on lessons learned from smaller scale programs authorized by SB 1477 and other activities to shape up a large scale approach to building decarb. Now, if you look at phases 1, 2, and 3, it makes sense to think about the impact, the cost savings, the trainings done, and take all of that information together and bring it into a phase 4 framework. We'll be working this year to develop this post-pilot framework for how the Commission can learn from past efforts to best support building decarb efforts moving forward. And I know that this is a very lively conversation that we've been having with both Commissioner Haut and Commissioner Douglas's office. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thanks so much, Sebastian. That was a lot of information and at several points in there, just indicative of really terrific thought leadership and policy in action. So just really want to thank you. That was terrific. And I wanted, before we turn to DACAG and other feedback and discussion, let's turn to public comment on this item.
Once again, comments are limited to 3 minutes and 1 speaker per organization. For individuals that are joining us on WebEx, go ahead and use the raise hand feature that look like an open palm. If you are calling in, press *3 to indicate that you would like to make a comment. Let me check hands here in the attendees. I don't see any hands raised up from the attendees. What about people in the room? Does anyone has comment to this action item? Agenda item, sorry. Okay, no from the room. So back to you, Jenna.
Thank you, Ling. So DACAG members, any feedback, questions, comments, concerns? Did I lose you? Julia.
Hi, thank you for all this work and this information. I'm curious about alignment with these programs with, for example, the CEC's Equitable Building Decarbonization Program and what, if any, efforts have been made to, I know that one's not running yet, but what efforts have been made to sort of mirror these programs or have them coordinate so that people can take advantage of both if possible, and so that contractors, so it's easy for contractors to sort of plug into any of these different programs.
Yeah, Julia, right? Yes. Great question. I will mention that between our team and the CEC's team that manages the EBD program, we have several conversations. We learn from what the program will focus on. We share what our programs are focusing on, and we try to find gaps where we can support each other. So I think I think it's a very relevant question and one that is on our minds and that we're looking to make sure that we have the most amount of impact as possible. So, for example, when we are thinking of the impact of our decisions, then we make sure that we communicate that with them and try to learn from each other. So, yes, we do coordinate as much as possible and align to broaden the impact. Absolutely.
Wonderful, thank you. And in particular, I'm curious about the workforce and labor standards that the CEC's EBD program is going to be adopting, and especially for the policy framework. I would love to see the CPUC look at similar workforce standards.
Yes, I will have to look into that. I'm not familiar with the EBD's workforce and labor standards policies and frameworks, whatever they may have, but I know that for sure we want, as these pilots have been learning from what's been working the best and not so best and taking that forward onto the phase 4. So yes, very relevant questions and I really appreciate it.
Commissioner Houck and then Elena.
Yeah, I just also wanted to add that my office also coordinates monthly with Commissioner McAllister, who's the lead commissioner for the CEC programs in this area. And we are working very hard at the PUC and I think at the CEC and looking at how to stack these different programs, because there are so many different funding programs that are being administered in so many different ways. CEC is obviously the lead for the federal funding to come through, but we want to make sure that our programs are supporting that. We're trying to come up with ways to get applications that are going to work better for customers as well, like a one-stop shop that can work with the contractors to minimize the complexity for the homeowner who may not know or understand anything about how this works. And so we are trying to embed that. We've also got a on-bill finance program that's also opening to see how we can fit all this into that as well. So that is the goal. And my current chief of staff, Karen Sung, actually just bought a house and is trying to decarbonize it. So she's going through some of this personally and also trying to think about how it can be simplified, because even for people that work on this daily, this whole process is very, very complicated to take advantage of all these programs.
Wonderful, thank you.
Elena?
Yeah, thank you again for this overview of a lot of really excellent programs that you're running across the state. I was wondering whether the data, maybe I missed this, you might have mentioned this, sorry, whether the data from these programs is going to be available. I'm curious, for example, if we're going to look at the single and multifamily incentives, can we get information both on where these are being adopted? I'd love to take a look at the sort of again, the demographics. Can we get a sense of barriers, where we get uptake and where we don't? Particularly as we get a larger plan to roll this forward across the state. Can we set a baseline that we can measure against? And I'd also love to get some sense of exactly what kinds of bill impacts we see in terms of either increases in bills or in savings. So we can sort of, I think this is a huge data gap in general, a lot of this based on modeling. I'd love to know, okay, we projected, I'm thinking about the Silicon Valley pilot, how much the savings were going to be from these efficiency measures. Did we see those? How is that working in terms of on-bill financing? So I was curious what kind of data collection is happening, what would be available publicly. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, great question, Elena. So on the Tech Clean CA website, there's data already posted there in terms of the installations, the cost to install these appliances. I will say that in terms of demographics and other useful information, we don't have that yet. And I was hoping to have a nice map of where installations were happening, but unfortunately, there was a technical error, and I didn't make it in time for this map. So we're working on that. I will also add that as part of the Phase 4 framework is gathering all of this information, bill impacts in terms of post-installation data, are customers better off, trying to get all the variables and then trying to feed that into this Phase 4 framework. We are still going through that. So our implementer Energy Solutions is not ready yet to share that, but it's almost there. It should be earlier this year, and I'll be sure to make sure that we share as much as we can in terms of that useful information.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I don't see any other hands on my screen. That doesn't mean that there aren't any, because I'm still trying to get the hang of where everybody is on WebEx. Any other comments or questions on this item? Okay, hearing none. Sebastian, thank you again. Commissioner Houck, thank you again. We'll look forward to updates and more data on these programs as they roll forward. And again, whenever there's programs where 100% of the significant amount of funding is dedicated to low income constituencies, that is a sign of progress. So thank you so much for all your hard work.
Thank you.
You bet. So with that, we will turn to item number 6, which is Gas Research and Development Program. So this is where California Energy Commission staff have the opportunity to present energy-related gas research initiatives for the proposed draft of fiscal year 24-25 gas research and development budget plan, and that'll be followed by DACAG feedback and discussion. So I welcome, is it Daphne Molin? I hope I pronounced your name. I hope I pronounced your name right, Daphne.
Thanks.
And the floor is yours. Thanks so much.
Great, thank you. Thanks for that introduction. So good afternoon, and thanks for taking the time to discuss the CEC's Gas R&D program today. My name is Daphne Molin. I'm a supervisor here in the R&D division, presenting on behalf of our research team developing these initiatives. So we have a 15-minute presentation for you on our gas program and a handful of questions where we would really love to hear your insight, and we can also address any questions you may have as well, since we have our staff on the line as well. Next slide, please. Thank you. So for a little bit of background, the Gas Research and Development, or R&D program, was authorized by legislation back in the year 2000, and its scope is established by legislation and CPUC actions. The overarching goal is to advance gas-related technologies and research to provide environmental benefits, greater reliability, lower cost, and increased safety. The Gas R&D program has a $24 million annual budget, which is reviewed and considered by the CPUC. The research should support state policy and provide reasonable probability of benefits to gas ratepayers who fund the public purpose program. The research areas include energy efficiency, renewable technologies, conservation, and environmental issues, and CEC should consider collaboration and co-funding opportunities. Research for transportation was added to this program via legislation in 2006. Our research projects are selected based on criteria and publicly available grant solicitations where applications are scored and competitively selected. And most of what this program has funded to date are technology prototypes tested in the lab environment to improve cost and performance so that clean energy technologies can advance towards commercialization and compete in the marketplace. We also fund studies such as those that inform decommissioning planning, and approximately 25% of our funding has gone towards pilot demonstrations to further prove emerging technologies. Of these, approximately 70% of the projects have been in disadvantaged and/or low-income communities, reflecting CEC's priorities investing in projects to promote equity inclusion. And typically our grant agreements take about 3 to 4 years to complete. Next slide, please. So how do we go about preparing our proposed initiatives? I'm sorry, okay. So how do we go about preparing our initiatives? It's an iterative process comparing many different factors such as state policies, roadmaps, and proceedings. And we pay attention to emerging research through publications and dialogue at various points in the process, including public workshop. So with benefits needing to be provided to gas system ratepayers, some of our projects focus directly on equity, such as investigating human behaviors and building attributes that can impact indoor air pollution, while others provide broad benefits such as safety to the gas system. Next slide, please. Okay, so linking this to the overall timing, our research is really an ongoing step, and we prepare annually for the upcoming budget plan. We're currently in a more public phase with sharing our initiatives and seeking feedback at a public workshop and with you here today. As far as how we accept comments, verbal remarks and written comments are always welcome, and we appreciate the opportunity to discuss this work with you, and we'll be taking careful notes as well to capture your feedback. We can run those notes by you after the meeting if you think that would be helpful as well. And if after hearing our proposals, you would like to reaffirm your comments to us via a comment letter, we'd be happy to accept that. So it's always helpful to have something to refer to, but not necessary for having the discussion today. So regardless, we'll be considering your feedback before we submit the proposal to the CPUC by April 1st this year. And then we wait for approval from CPUC before preparing the grant solicitations that would come out of this effort, and then select the research projects. Next slide, please. Okay. So before launching into this year's initiatives, we did want to circle back with you on your feedback from last year's budget plan process. That was the 2023 cycle. We previewed some research concepts that we were considering for this year's budget plan for 2024. And your recommendation to us was to prioritize a concept relating to detecting and reducing fugitive emissions and move it from the 2024 plan to the 2023 plan. So we went ahead and took that recommendation and included it in last year's proposal, which is currently with the CPUC for consideration. Please. So we have prepared a summary of CEC's proposed research initiatives for fiscal year 2024, and CEC proposes to continue projects in safety, cost reduction, and equity, while maintaining activity in other forward-looking program areas that aim to address complex decarbonization issues. Next slide, please. Right, so for our first initiative, it supports our decommissioning research area. This effort will inform gas transition planning by capitalizing on existing data and new fieldwork to understand experiences of the gas transition, including at the end use and end user levels. Projects funded by this initiative are intended to analyze changing gas use patterns to support demand forecasting and infrastructure planning, assess and characterize benefits, costs, and risks of conversion from gas distributionally across different geographies and groups of end users. Also, it will make it easier and more compelling for people and organizations to choose alternatives to fossil gas based on analyzing the details of the frictions that now impede change. This includes addressing harder to electrify applications or regions, for example, gas use in rural, remote, and tribal areas. Projects would also tackle other challenges, such as relating to the workforce, appropriate technology, and energy resilience. These projects will result in analyses that may inform CEC's gas decarbonization proceeding, gas industry planning, and CPUC gas planning efforts. Next slide, please. All right, the second initiative emphasizes safety and affordability benefits. The focus is to advance innovations for cost-effective operation and maintenance of gas transmission pipelines and underground storage facilities. Recent regulations have expanded testing, inspection, and monitoring requirements, which are critical for ensuring safety, but they also increase costs of operating and maintaining this infrastructure. Projects funded under this initiative will develop non-intrusive inspection and monitoring technologies that can detect leaks or other issues in underground storage facilities without the need for frequent, disruptive, and costly well inspections. The initiative will also develop non-destructive testing methods to verify material properties of existing gas transmission pipelines and improve inline inspection technologies for small diameter transmission pipelines, which can be particularly challenging to inspect due to their size and complex geometry. These projects have several benefits to California ratepayers, including ensuring safety for communities located near gas transmission pipelines and underground storage facilities. These technologies would mitigate cost impacts of new regulations that would be passed on to ratepayers by reducing maintenance-related downtime. Next slide, please. All right, so moving to a decarbonized generation system requires multiple strategies, of which renewable fuels such as hydrogen, biomethane, or ammonia will fill a critical role for power generation. This initiative enables distributed generation and backup power technologies to withstand fuel changes as California transitions away from fossil gas. Targeted applications are decentralized, commercial and industrial sites that primarily consume fossil gas, particularly benefiting remote locations, rural areas, or microgrids. Currently, prime movers are designed for using fossil gas, and the gas system of the future may have variable compositions of renewable fuel mixes. So innovation for either new or existing technologies are needed to accommodate the fuel mixes while maintaining performance and producing low to zero emissions. Projects funded under this initiative will either use a single or mix of renewable fuels to demonstrate prime movers such as advanced gas-fired engines that could offer fine-tuned ignition strategies, or innovative non-combustion assets such as fuel cells or linear generators. It will also develop lab-to-pilot scale prototypes of advanced sensors and control systems to enable consistent low-emission performance for greenhouse gas and criteria pollutant emissions. And lastly, these projects would demonstrate safe and reliable performance for consistent operations at end-use sites. Next slide, please. All right, so this initiative explores hydrogen separation to support clean, renewable hydrogen distribution. Blending clean, renewable hydrogen into California's gas pipeline infrastructure has potential to help the state meet our climate and air quality goals, complementing strategies like electrification, especially for harder to electrify applications. CPUC commissioned a study with UC Riverside to assess the implications of injecting hydrogen into the existing gas system as part of CPUC's renewable gas rulemaking. The study concluded that system-wide blending scenarios become concerning as hydrogen concentrations approach 5% by volume. The study also recommended real-world demonstrations under safe and controlled conditions. The gas IOUs are now preparing hydrogen blending pilot proposals that will do this work on isolated pipeline segments if approved by the CPUC. The impact to and costs of solutions for customers and infrastructure segments sensitive to hydrogen at certain concentrations will need to be considered when assessing effectiveness of blending as a decarbonization strategy. If widespread hydrogen blending is pursued following the IOU pilots, then hydrogen separation technology can play a role in strategically managing hydrogen concentrations to avoid potential impacts and costs of upgrading sensitive segments of the existing gas infrastructure. Another potential use case for hydrogen separation technology is extracting fuel cell quality hydrogen from a blended gas stream to help decarbonize challenging end usage such as heavy duty transportation. Projects funded under this initiative, if approved, will improve the efficiency, durability, and scalability of emerging separation technologies suitable for the hydrogen concentrations that may be present in a prospective blended gas system scenario. It would also conduct a techno-economic analysis to assess the potential role and use cases for hydrogen separation technologies, considering trade-offs with alternative solutions such as equipment or infrastructure upgrades to handle certain hydrogen concentrations and implications to systems adjacent to and within disadvantaged, low-income, or tribal communities. These projects would benefit California ratepayers by potentially avoiding infrastructure upgrades and reducing costs of hydrogen blending while ensuring safety. Improving understanding of whether and how the existing gas system should evolve to distribute clean renewable hydrogen to inform future decision-making, regardless of the decarbonization strategy. Next slide, please. So this last proposal is to evaluate opportunities for California to leverage our geothermal resources for district heating for buildings, campuses, and neighborhoods by exploring emerging drilling technologies. Advancements in millimeter wave, there we go. Thanks. Advancements in millimeter wave and directional drilling, for example, allow for accessing deeper resources in what could be a cost-effective manner. This could result in co-locating geothermal district heating with population centers. These technologies differ from ground source heat pumps, which require many shallow bores, 10 meters deep, and require some land use. These new technologies, however, don't require as much land use and can use deeper bores around 1,500 meters. This study would evaluate the latest drilling technology, concerns for induced seismicity, the ability to co-locate California geological resources with difficult to electrify areas, and the study would also evaluate how to leverage existing district heating systems, possible benefits to disadvantaged communities, and the potential to utilize the existing gas utility workforce. The CEC, gas utilities, and other organizations would use this information as a stepping stone to consider if and how pilot demonstrations could be useful. And if so, we could propose an initiative and a future investment plan to fund a pilot. Next slide, please. Okay, so in addition to seeking your feedback on these initiatives, we also have broader questions for you about ensuring equitable program administration. In the most recent resolution, CPUC asked CEC to coordinate with the DCAG and disadvantaged community stakeholders to comment on how we can administer the program equitably. And to add a little context, CEC has a longstanding commitment to equity, as our current practices include a multi-year effort to streamline the grant application and administration process. We also provide preference points to grant proposals that support under-resourced communities. And we also discuss the budget plan with DCAG or DCAG members on an annual basis. To be responsive to this request, from the request from the CPUC, we've been considering approaches for conducting additional outreach for the gas budget planning process. And we started with a notification to California Environmental Justice Alliance and Asian Pacific Environmental Network regarding the workshop and opportunity for public comment. We would like to ensure that our outreach efforts provide stakeholders with opportunities to inform program planning and have been exploring some ideas to implement them in the year ahead. Next slide, please. So as we propose these questions to you, it's important to consider the annual cadence of this program, the breadth of topics for R&D that are established here, as well as the $24 million a year budget. And we recognize that stakeholder groups also have limited resources, and we'd like to make the most efficient use of their time as well. So some of the questions that we have for you are, what are additional or revised approaches that would be effective for ensuring equitable program administration? Could that include additional report outs and discussions with the DCAG, perhaps as we craft solicitations? Could that include individual targeted meetings with stakeholders, hosting roundtable discussions with multiple stakeholders or stakeholder groups? Always open to hear any suggested stakeholders that you think would be helpful for us to engage with. And on the research initiatives themselves, how could we center equity considerations both in our proposal to the CPUC as well as in our solicitations? Do you have any suggested use cases or opportunities? And have you heard of any concerns that that come to mind as we presented these? And if there's any other priority areas that you think we should consider as well, that would also be informative to the team. So with that, just wanted to thank you for your time and appreciate the conversation that we'll have here today. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Daphne. That was really great. Thank you. Before we get into the discussion, let's move into public comment. And Ling, can you see if there's public comment on this item, please?
Thank you, Jenna. Once again, comments are limited to 3 minutes and 1 speaker per organization. For individuals that are joining us on WebEx, go ahead and use raise hand feature that looks like an open palm. If you are calling in, press *3 to indicate that you would like to make a comment. Checking hands now. No hands in the attendees. Anybody in the room who would like to make comment? No from the room. Back to you, Jenna.
Thanks so much. So now we'll turn to DACAG members for feedback and discussion. Could we please put the slide? Yeah, thank you so much. You're ahead of me, of course. So these are the questions posed, but I'm just going to turn it open to the group for any initial comments, and we'll go from there. Elena.
Thanks for the presentation. I am very excited about the network geothermal district heating. I think that's something that we've been curious about for a while, and it has a lot of potential. I'd love updates on this, and particularly both like the first round, but also how we can think about linking this to like energy efficiency measures. Does that reduce, costs overall rather than just going for the supply side solution? What else can we do there? I had a question about some of the linkages earlier. You talked some about hydrogen blending in pipelines, which I think many of us on this call have significant concerns about. But putting those somewhat aside, are the gas inspection technologies being supported in the gas system safety initiative going to cover inspections appropriate for hydrogen or blended pipelines and storage?
Peter, do you want to address that one?
Particularly given the concerns that we have about, potential additional embrittlement. I assume that there's different kinds of degradation mechanisms that are going to occur and so forth.
Yeah, so I think for this initiative, it is fairly focused on existing gas infrastructure. I think the utility pilots are, well suited to explore, inspection, maintenance, operations as they test, pipeline blends in those isolated segments. If they get approval for their pilot projects. So yeah, really the intention of this initiative is to reduce costs of maintaining the existing gas system as they are, in the context of these additional regulations that are contributing to rate impacts.
Okay, I guess I have a concern that we're developing technologies and approaches that are going to be inappropriate if blending starts occurring, right? That they will be most appropriate for an existing system and less appropriate if being rolled out if hydrogen blending were to occur.
Yeah.
I, again, don't think it should, but also want to make sure that we can understand how to evaluate risks in such a situation.
Absolutely. And I do want to reference some past research that we have. I think actually it's still quite active. So this is an annual budget plan. So in recent years, we have funded some projects evaluating risks associated with hydrogen blending. And so we have a project with UCLA doing this work in partnership with the utilities. So they're working on a quantitative risk assessment of hydrogen blending, which will include potential risk mitigation measures for that. So I think that study is ongoing and will be quite informative to what kind of risk mitigation measures, what kinds of inspections would be needed in a blended scenario. We also had a recently approved initiative looking at feasibility of introducing hydrogen into underground gas storage facilities. So I think a potential outcome of that work, and we're still working on the grant funding opportunity for that, is understanding what are those special inspection measures that might be needed if you do introduce hydrogen in that kind of system.
Thanks.
Thanks.
I think a lot of us have some concerns about, blending hydrogen into some of those existing facilities, given, for example, Alyssa Canyon. So please keep us posted on how those go.
And I'll just chime in on that and say that as we've talked about a lot in this forum, hydrogen, the markets for hydrogen, the use of hydrogen is nascent, and it's interesting, Daphne, like to hear about. I think I heard this right, so correct me if I'm wrong, but that you know, kind of early results are that we're looking at about a 5% hydrogen blend, which, you know, isn't a lot. I have experience with projects that blend biodiesel with diesel, and in order to get around some of the concerns with vehicle warranties and things like that, you know, we're limited to about a 20% blend in that case, in the applications we have. And so then the discussion turns to, you know, how can we better understand the feasibility of some of these applications, the economics around them, certainly, as Elena was saying, the safety. And so I would just say that, you know, our prior comments on hydrogen, the way in which we think about it, the guidelines for developing its use still hold true in this context, and so those things are already written down in various places, and we can maybe work on getting those over to you to refresh as needed. And then I had a question, and then I'll turn it to others. But when you mentioned that there was the potential, the research was being done on the potential to spin off hydrogen from gas streams to be used in heavy transport. Do you have a window right now, and it's fine if you don't, into what kinds of gas streams are we talking about spinning off hydrogen from? Or are those gas streams yet to be determined?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think what I can point to are the gas utility hydrogen blending pilots. They're developing pilot proposals to submit to CPUC as part of that renewable gas proceeding I mentioned, or Daphne mentioned. So they're looking at blends up to 20% for those pilots. You know, I mentioned you referenced the earlier CPUC UC Riverside study that indicated, you know, there were some concerns even as you're approaching 5%. The utility pilots will, I think, bring a lot of understanding into the risks as you get up to 20%. So really, I think that's kind of the near-term blend concentration that we're interested in. We think that's you know, a potential stream where you can have this extraction method, and you could leverage gas infrastructure to support things like zero-emission vehicles.
Great. And then when we're talking about what I was understanding when it was being presented as sort of a hydrogen recovery effort from existing gas streams, did I just not hear that right? And if there is a hydrogen spin-off recovery effort from existing gas streams, what are those gas streams coming from that have hydrogen already in them?
Yeah, so you know, really, I think this you know, research is attempting to kind of dovetail what's happening with the gas utility blending pilots that are being proposed. So you know, we're seeing that, you know, this technology could potentially play a role if hydrogen blending is pursued. So the utility pilots are going to be focused on these isolated segments of the gas system, but potentially following those pilots, there could be wider spread, you know, use of hydrogen blending as a decarbonization solution. So those are the types of gas streams that we're interested in. You know, how this separation technology or hydrogen recovery technology that you mentioned could kind of tap into those future prospective blended gas streams. So it'll be, let's say the 20% hydrogen blend in existing gas pipeline, if that's deemed safe in the future.
Great. Thanks so much, Peter. Elena?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, when we're talking about a 20% blend, is that volumetrically? I mean, fundamentally, I think when you run the numbers, and I might be wrong about this, that's only going to get you like 7% from an energy standpoint, even if it's 20%. And so when we're talking about 5% volumetric blend, it doesn't really do much from an energy standpoint. Anyway, I just want to be clear exactly what level of blending we're talking about.
Yeah, so 20% is by volume, and you're right, that's around 7% by energy. I think we would be interested in exploring potentially higher concentrations. It's actually easier to do hydrogen recovery if you have a higher blend percentage, but there's obviously trade-offs with that. If you have to upgrade the existing gas infrastructure, put more investment into that to enable a higher hydrogen blend. That's another kind of key question as blending gets explored further.
Great, thank you. Any other questions or comments by DACAG members? Elena?
One last comment, just sort of thinking about follow-ons for the gas inspections that we have consistently seen, for example, on the electric grid, underinvestments in infrastructure in disadvantaged communities, and that I don't want to speak for the whole DACAG. I would certainly support a prioritization of inspections of infrastructure in disadvantaged communities as you start to roll out those efforts. And potentially even as you're sort of testing out some of those inspections, the more data that we can get earlier and can act on, the better.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll take that comment.
Thank you. Yeah. I want to welcome Stephanie to the meeting. Stephanie, I know you joined a while ago, but welcome. And I want to turn to the room at the San Francisco Courtyard Conference Center.
Hi. Hi, everyone from rainy San Francisco. I just wanted to provide, I'm Judith E. Clay in the Energy Division, and I wanted to just provide a little context to the discussions that we've been having with the CEC in development of these R&D areas. Just kind of focusing on Elena's question on what sort of safety things are in the plan and Peter's, response and things. In terms of this year and something that is currently impacting our gas utilities, we have new regulations from CalGEM for well inspections of energy storage facilities, which we are concerned are taking out of service a lot of wells which would otherwise be used to inject and withdraw gas from those gas storage facilities. And we're also a little concerned that, a decrease in wells, and are the inspection techniques themselves, beneficial, or are they actually harmful in terms of the integrity of the well through the inspection? So that if you have a gas storage facility, and we have them, a number of them all over the state, and you have a number of wells out for inspection, then you are effectively reducing the amount we can both inject when the price is low and withdraw, like last weekend when the price was very high because of all the cold weather and outages, across the country. So we're already, you can already kind of project that there is a cost to ratepayers keeping online additional gas storage facilities because the inspection regime, we are concerned that it might actually decrease the number of useful wells at any one time. So that is something that is an existing area that we were very interested in you know, addressing in terms of safety. And in terms of some direct cost to ratepayers, we can look at some facilities that we now think need to be on, not in Southern California, but in Northern California, because of some of the regimes that are coming forward now. So that just puts, you know, we are dealing with some very immediate concerns where we have very immediate concerns in terms of ratepayer impact, and which are relatively new since these regulations just came into effect fairly recently. Thank you.
Thanks, Judith. Elena?
I just want to say thanks. That's super interesting. And I was wondering if you can't just time the inspections for when you don't have particularly high injections and withdrawals, much like they do for, you know, maintenance for power plants and things like that.
I guess they'll look into that, but I think I don't know if it's that they have the rigs, you know, they have to bring all these rigs on site, and I'm not quite sure, but I'm sure they are trying to do that because they do use it, you know, to hedge. And some of these are not even owned by our utilities. They're the independent ones. So everyone would want to get, you know, whatever benefit they could out of this physical hedge. I think, yeah, so.
So I just want to turn just a bit to this first question on the screen here, and make a suggestion or a recommendation for the DECAG to consider, which is that on this in particular, we might welcome regular updates and report outs on this topic throughout 2024. And if that means, you know, a shorter, quick summary at every other meeting, or what, you know, whatever that looks like, I think this is a really important topic to stay frosty on. And there's so much good work going on that's being led by the CPUC and others, that staying refreshed on it is really important. So I would just throw that out to the group to consider. And then some of these other sort of constituency meetings, you know, I think I would advocate for a series of targeted meetings with representatives that have, you know, in disadvantaged communities, in tribal nations, that have, particularly that have adjacencies to this kind of infrastructure and major impacts from it. And so I would recommend that. And then lastly, I would say, I'm wondering if methane is part of this research slate. Just really quickly, like if it's, you know, we talk about hydrogen and inspecting for fugitive emissions, but there's a lot of good work that's happening internationally and nationally, and in California around methane detection. And I'm wondering if that is part of this.
Yeah. So Daphne, maybe I can take this.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, so I think Daphne had an earlier slide on our 23-24 budget plan. So that's the plan from last year that we presented. I think we heard a similar recommendation, and we did take that and included it in last year's plan. So last year's plan has a initiative to further develop methane detection, monitoring, and mitigation technologies. So that budget plan is pending CPUC's review and approval. So hopefully we can get that approved and we can begin work on that initiative from last year.
Great. And I just want to punch up the prior comment from Elena, I think, to include my support for prioritization of those kinds of monitoring and inspections for methane and other pollutants in low-income communities. We need the data. We need more data, and we need more attention there. So just huge support for that.
Yeah, great, thank you. I don't know if maybe Susan, Alex H, or maybe Mithra would want to weigh in on any of that.
Yes, this is Susan, and I am happy to share that in the Sustainability and Health Unit, we also have a portfolio of work on methane emissions. Our two key ongoing efforts right now, one of them is looking at behind the meter emissions in residential settings, with an emphasis on capturing multifamily homes that historically have not been characterized, as was mentioned. The other piece is working in the San Joaquin Valley to develop what we refer to as a multi-tiered system, which basically just means you're making measurements using a variety of instrumentation and methodological approaches so that you can have a sustained view, both for safety and for emissions, which, as we know, are intermittent and tend to be dominated by few sources.
Thanks so much for that. Elena?
Sorry, is that San Joaquin Valley one also behind the meter, or are you looking at a broader set of sources?
Great question. The San Joaquin Valley one is not behind the meter. It is looking to quantify regional methane emissions. So it will include production phase, processing, distribution, all of that. Yeah. It does include some behind the meter. And again, there's also an emphasis there on multifamily homes, but that's a fairly small part of the study, considering both the spatial domain and the multiple levels of monitoring that are considered.
Thank you.
With that, any other comments, questions, concerns? All right, hearing none, thank you, Daphne and Peter, so much for the presentation. We really appreciate it. We know these things are complicated, and your good work shines through. So thank you for that.
Great, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Great. So let's turn now to, we have a quorum now, but I'm going to wait to go back to some of the voting items that we skipped over earlier. And we'll do that at the end, toward the end of the meeting. Let's go forward with item 7, where we are going to discuss priority updates and priority areas, and possibly adopt revisions to DACAG priority areas for 2024. And in this, if this is okay with Mona, Mona, I'd like to turn to you to give us an overview of the letter that was provided on priority areas, the joint agencies recommendation letter, which is part of the docketed materials for this meeting. If that's something you're comfortable doing now, let's do that first, and then we can open it up to a general discussion.
Yes, that works. And then Dorothy, if you could pull up the letter and make it a little larger. Hi, everyone. My name is Mona Badi. I'm with the California Energy Commission, and both CEC and CPUC have worked together to issue this joint letter to the DACAG members. It has also been docketed in the public docket, so the public has access to this letter as well. And so this letter contains recommendations to DACAG members for consideration while you are developing your priorities for 2024. And so that first list you'll see are the areas for joint recommendations. And then below that, there are a few items that the CPUC wanted to raise as well. And I'll just briefly go through 1 through 7. So for workforce training and development, that is the same as last year. We want to continue to engage on that one. And same thing for tribal and community engagement and participation. The next item, building industrial and gas system decarbonization and clean renewable hydrogen. So this is somewhat of an edit from last year's priority. And this is to explicitly include the gas system and also to acknowledge clean renewable hydrogen. Wanted to emphasize that. Previously, clean hydrogen was a standalone item, so it's being folded in here. And then the other recommendation for consideration is for the long-term planning, which was an existing priority area. We wanted to add offshore wind, Lithium Valley Vision, and also gas system planning to the list of examples of long-term planning there. And then you have EPIC. EPIC stays the same, of course. And then for transportation, previously we had transportation electrification as one of your priorities, and we just added the emphasis of zero emission transportation as well. And then if you scroll down, I'm happy to turn the floor to CPUC, but you can see the explanations there. CPUC is recommending that affordability remain on the list of priorities as a standalone item. And then with regards to distribution and transmission grid planning and distributed energy resources, so that would be a little bit of an edit there. And then before we had lifeline programs, broadband, etc. And this one is maintaining the broadband and expanding it to include smart grids. And you can see the explanation there as well. And so these are just for your consideration as you establish priorities for 2024. And I don't know if it's helpful for Dorothy to bring up on the screen the list of 2023 priorities. We have those available if you wanted to refresh your memory on those. Those are on the CEC DACAG webpage and of course docketed as well. So they are available to the public.
Great, thanks so much, Mona. I appreciate that. Before we turn to DACAG feedback and discussion, I'll turn to Ling to facilitate any public comment on this item number 7.
Thank you, Jenna. I'm waiting for the slide show the public comment. Once again, comments are limited to 3 minutes, 1 speaker per organization. For individuals that are joining us on WebEx, go ahead and use raise hand feature that looks like an open palm. If you are calling in, press *3 to indicate that you would like to make a comment. Checking the attendees.
Steve Scala.
Steve Scala.
What on meter?
I've already had.
Oh, right. Please state and spell your name, your affiliation, and you may give your comment.
Thank you. My name is Steve Scala. It's S-K-A-L-A. You should see it in the attendees list. I'm a resident of Fremont. I'm also a member of the local Environmental Sustainability Commission, but I'm speaking just on my behalf. I'd like to suggest that the commission explore and incentivize community solar programs. In our community of Solar East Bay Community Energy, now AVA, has identified at least 50 megawatts of available community solar resources, mostly on warehouse roofs that are near grid interconnect sites. And Fremont has 3 disadvantaged communities per EPA maps, with about 3,000 people who meet low-income requirements. However, it looks like there's a couple of impediments to utilizing that solar and establishing it. One is the maps that are used for disadvantaged communities. We use our East Bay Community Energy has to use a CALD service map or CALD screen map, which is in our city more restrictive and doesn't have any disadvantaged communities as opposed to EPA's map. So what I'll suggest is that we have policies that allow our community energy providers to take as much advantage of community solar programs, utilizing benefits from the Inflation Reduction Act as possible, so that we can match potential sponsors of solar with the disadvantaged community, low-income members in our community, so they can get discounts from those solar programs. And of course, we can increase the amount of local solar generation. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Let me check hands for the attendees again. No hands here. Anybody in the room would like to make a comment? No comments from the room in San Francisco. Back to you, Jenna.
Thanks so much. So we'll turn to the DACAG members for discussion, but I kind of want to tee this up with one comment, which is, so we have 7 joint recommendations for 2024 priorities, and then we would potentially add affordability, distribution and transmission grid planning, and distributed energy resources, and smart grids and broadband to that list to bring a total of 10. Now, in past meetings, these priority areas really are just ways for us to organize our discussions and topics around where we provide input, where we provide focus. But I think just to facilitate this conversation, and it is a voting item, so we could vote as the DACAG to approve a list of 7 or 10 or 3 priority items. But the way I think about it is that these are areas that the CEC and the CPUC really can look to reach out to the DACAG and provide information around data, around programs, around policy, around things they need input on. And that's really their highest and best use for this entity. We've had them on there like as an agenda item for DACAG members to make comments on them, and they're that kind of use is, I think, secondary to making sure that the CEC and the CPUC understand that these are the topic areas that they can be triangulating against to bring information to the DACAG for input and recommendations. So I'll just say that whether it's 7 or 10 functioning in that way, I think this is a great list, and I'll open it up to the group. Any comment? Questions, concerns?
I can jump in. This is Julia. I'm glad to see that this list is a little bit more focused than last year's list. I think it's just better to go deeper on fewer things than sort of spread ourselves across all these different topics. So I'm excited about that. I wonder about whether or not we might consider something where we adopt the 7 joint priorities, but then also have some way for the CPUC to reach out to DACAG members about their 3 priority issues separately. Just because this is, you know, a group that's focused on both agencies, it feels like, again, in the interest of focusing things, you know, if we would just stick with those 7 and then have some sort of other mechanism for the other 3.
Thanks, Julia. So, you know, one way to think about it is that there are a couple things in the list of 7 that are catch-all for affordability, distribution, transmission grid planning, and DERs, and smart grids and broadband. And the 4, I'm looking at number 4 and 5 to be those sort of catch-all topic areas that could include those 3 easily in that. So if that feels right to the California Public Utilities Commission staff as a way to go forward here, then we could look at the 7 as our topic areas, and then I would entertain a motion to approve those. All right.
Jana,
I know
just sorry,
Yeah, go
just
ahead.
one thought and I guess question for the group. Definitely in favor of a consolidated list and using kind of universal catch-all categories. I'm wondering how folks feel though. There's something that's not setting right to me about not explicitly prioritizing affordability. And I don't know that that would necessarily even have operational impact at the end of the day, but it feels wrong to me to take that off the list. That would be my only suggestion / question to the group. And I would be totally, if folks see a place where it could be combined with another topic that's enumerated among the 7, I think that would work as well.
I don't know how others feel. I would be in support of adding affordability as a standalone, putting distribution and transmission grid planning and distributed energy resources into either 4 or 5, and smart grids and broadband into 5. So affordability becomes number 1 or number 8. And then distribution, transmission, grid planning is added to the list for under number 5, long-term planning. And smart grids and broadband could be added to number 4. Because that's what it's enabling really, is reliability, resiliency, and load flexibility. Sorry, Court, just sending it over to the room. I heard a comment.
I had viewed it the other way. I thought it was going distribution into 4, and then the broadband into 5. But either way, yeah. But very glad affordability is made the cut.
Yeah. I mean, I would support that. We could put distribution and transmission grid planning and distributed energy resources into number 4. Maybe in parentheses like number 5. So an example.
I was reading the resiliency term there was the one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I got hung up on planning, but long-term planning is different than distribution and transmission grid planning. That's more, it can be long-term, but it's also can be very short-term.
We're hopeful it's short term.
All right. Good?
Yeah, it would be wonderful. So just sorry, did we we land on smart grids and broadband in number 5? And oh, I see you're making the changes live. And then distribution, transmission, et cetera, and about 4, just for the minutes.
Yep.
Cool, thank you.
And affordability is separate and becomes number 8.
Great.
All right, any other discussion of this list? And if not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Sorry, this is Mona from the Energy Commission. I just want to clarify for item 4 in the parenthetical distribution and transmission grid planning. So is that including distribution and transmission grid planning and distributed energy resources?
Yes.
Okay. So Dorothy, if you could just type including before distribution and transmission on item 4, thank you. Great. That was all, thank you.
Great.
Sorry, can I just, this is a bit tedious, but just because this is on the record, it's electric program investment charge, not plural investments. Just, thanks.
Thanks for that catch. All right, are the edits made? I think it looks like it.
Yeah, I'm going to remove all this below item 8. And then,
okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dorothy. So, so I will turn it back to the DACAG members. Is there a motion to adopt revisions to DACAG priority areas for 2024 as shown with the 8 2024 priorities on the screen? And I can read them out if that's needed for the motion, but I don't think it would be.
So moved.
Thanks, Julia. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Great, thank you, Andres. And then we will take a vote. Adrian is not here. Oh, Adrian,
Yes.
you're here. I'm sorry, you're
Yeah.
not on my screen, so I apologize.
Yes.
Andres,
Yes.
did I hear you?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I said yes.
Okay, thank you. Fred is not here. Jana votes yes. Roger? Not here yet. Roman is not here. Stephanie?
Yes.
Thank you. Elena?
Yes.
And Curtis is not here. Julia?
Yes.
Thank you. And Sahara is not here. The motion passes. Thank you all. And now we have our 2024 topics. Thanks so much. The item number 8, the discussion of the annual reports and possible approval of same, we are going to move to the next meeting because we don't have the enough information to consider that here today. And so then let's turn back to item number 4. Sorry, let me get to it. Item number 4, minutes. So we're going back to a voting item. It is the November 17th, 2023 and December 1st, 2023 meeting minutes. And so for the first item, number 4A, which is the November 17th meeting of 2023 meeting minutes, I'd like to turn it to Ling for public comment.
Thank you, Janet. Once again, comments are limited to 3 minutes and 1 speaker per organization. For individuals that are joining us on WebEx, go ahead and use the raise hand feature that looks like an open palm. If you are calling in, press *3 to indicate that you would like to make a comment. Checking the hands, attendees. No raised hand. Checking the room. Anybody in the room would like to make comment? No comments. Back to you, Jenna.
Thanks so much, Ling. Unless there's any DACAG member comments or questions, is anyone willing to move to approve item 4A, the November 17th, 2023 meeting minutes of the DACAG?
So moved.
Thanks, Elena. Is there a second?
Second?
Who was that?
Stephanie.
Stephanie, thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay. I just, anyway, the screen. So thank you for that second. I'm going to take a roll call vote. Please say aye if you're in favor, or yes or nay if you oppose, or indicate if you abstain. Adrian? Yes. Andres?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Fred is not here. Jana votes yes. Roger is not here. Ramon is not here. Stephanie?
Yes.
Thank you. Elena?
Yes.
Thank you. Curtis is not here. Julia?
Yes.
Thank you. And Sahara is not here. Item 4A, motion passes. Thanks so much. Next, let's turn to item 4B, the December 1st, 2023 meeting minutes. And I will turn to Ling to see if there's any public comment.
Thank you, Janet. Comments are limited to 3 minutes and 1 speaker per organization. For individuals that are joining us on WebEx, go ahead and use the raise hand feature that looks like an open palm. If you are calling in, press *3 to indicate that you would like to make a comment. Checking hands here. No from the WebEx, and calling in. Anybody in the room would like to make a comment? Seeing no comments, back to you, Jenna.
Thank you very much. Unless there are any DACAG member comments, and I'm not seeing any hands at the moment or questions, is anyone willing to move to approve item 4B, December 1, 2023 meeting minutes?
I move to approve the minutes. This is Andres.
Thank you, Andres. Is there someone to second?
Elena will second.
Thank you, Elena. So then I'll take a roll call vote. Adrian?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Andres?
Yes.
Thank you. Fred is not here. Jana votes yes. Roger is not here yet. Roman is not here. Stephanie,
Yes.
thank you. Elena,
Yes.
thank you. Curtis is not here. Julia,
Yes.
thank you. And Sahara is not here. So the motion passes. Thank you so much. Now we're going to go back to our regularly scheduled programming, and that is item number 9, which is the 2024 DACAG meeting schedule. So this is a discussion on the meeting schedule for this year and review the DACAG meeting planning survey results. So I welcome DACAG support staff to highlight the results of the 2024 meeting planning survey, and then we'll open the floor for public comment and then DACAG member comment.
Thank you, Jenna, again. And again, thank you everyone for your participation in the recent survey regarding 2024 DACA meeting preferences. We built a Tableau dashboard to show the survey results and emailed it along with the key findings to the DACA members the day before yesterday. There are 4 key findings. Number 1, a majority of members prefer to meet in combination of virtual and in-person half day on the 3rd Friday of each month. They also indicate that meeting virtually provides significant convenience. Number 2, members have some concerns about a full day quarterly meeting. Number 3, while members are greatly interested in participating in community engagement, the bandwidth is limited. Number 4, if there is community engagement, members generally prefer a half-day site visit followed by a half-day DACA meeting. Roman also recommended consideration of joint meeting with the Low Income Oversight Board. Thank you again for your participation in the survey. Now back to you, Jenna, to further discuss the results.
So, so Ling, can I ask you to sort of provide a little bit more commentary on that, which is, can you articulate for us what the survey indicated about what the preferred format is for the rest of the year, and any recommendations that came out of that? You know, is it meeting monthly virtually? That's what we're rounding to, or were there recommendations for other formats that were periodically wanting to see happen?
I have it in front of me if you need it. Ling's pulling up the dashboard right now, I believe, but I can fill in while she's pulling that up. It looks like, you know, it's a bit split of that, you know, it seems like you all enjoy doing in-person meetings, but of course it's obviously less convenient. So I think that's kind of where that landed. A combination of virtually and in-person was overwhelming majority of when asked, how do you prefer to meet? And it does look as though you all like this style of what we consider a half day monthly over a full day quarterly. Yeah, I did that kind of answer your original question, Jenna?
And I think there was a agreement to keep with the 3rd Friday seemed
Yeah.
fine, rather than switching the day up.
There was
I think the concern in terms of quarterly may be that you weren't able to be nimble enough if you went to quarterly, which is what we when the DACAG was established, there was a quarterly in-person meeting, was the initial kind of cadence. And then it was combined with some monthly calls, which were pretty short. But then with the COVID, we went to all virtual and monthly.
It looks as though also if third week only won by 1 point over second week of the month. So that's also something to note.
Thanks so much. Elena, you're up next, but I want to, first, before we get into discussion, I'd like to put this out for public comment.
Great. As public comment are limited to 3 minutes and 1 speaker per organization. For individuals that are joining us on WebEx, go ahead and use the raise hand feature that looks like an open palm. If you're calling in, press *3 to indicate that you would like to make a comment. Checking hands here. No hands. Anybody in the room would like to make a
attendee?
Oh, yes. Seeing one person, Fabi Law. Apologies if I mispronounced your name. And please start your comment by give us your name, spell your name and your affiliation. Then you might give your comment.
Thank you. This is Fabi Lao, that's F-A-B-I, last name L-A-O. Can you all hear me? Okay, cool. Just making sure I saw Jana leaning over the screen. Anyways, so once again, this is Fabi Lao with the Center for Sustainable Energy. First things, Happy New Year, everybody. Really looking forward to what you're all going to be doing in 2024. I am glad to hear that most of you members support a hybrid kind of option of between meeting in virtual and in person. And I will highly encourage you to please to continue to provide as many meetings as possible with a virtual option that does allow for more people to attend, especially when you have limited travel budgets. It's very helpful to be able to be engaged. And I also, support what Roman was suggesting about having community engagement for half the day and then followed by half a day at a DACAG meeting. I think when that happened last year, I forgot which month, although I wasn't part of the community engagement part, I think it was really great to hear what you all learned and to have speakers from the local community where the in-person meeting was held. So I think that was having something similar like that this year would be great. Because it's just wonderful to hear from people, from the communities that we want to help. I don't know, I have no idea, no comment at the moment on how often to have these kind of half-day community engagement, half-day DACAG meetings, but I do support that notion, that idea. Thank you.
Anybody has comments here? Please raise your hand. Seeing none. So back to you, Jenna.
Thank you so much. So I'll turn it over to the DACAG membership. Any discussion items about scheduling of meetings format? There's not really a voting or a motion to be made, so I think it's just for discussion only. Elena.
I assume this has come up probably before I joined the advisory group, but is there a reason that we have to have the meeting on the same day of the month every month? It might make it easier for the public to schedule perhaps, but I think I'm somewhat concerned that some days we have staff that can't make, advisory committee members that can't make it. And sometimes we have to cancel meetings entirely. So even if maybe that means, I know we have to announce ahead of time when it's going to occur, but if we either could do a poll ahead of time, or maybe even if we just hold 2 to 3 days a month, as possible or something like that, and then schedule that 1 month out depending on when most people could come. Perhaps that might be able to sort of increase access and availability for the whole DACAG, which I think, again, everyone is doing other jobs and is in other places and has to travel and do other things. And we want to be able to have as much engagement from our community as possible.
So I can maybe speak to that. I think we settled on calendaring the meetings for a full year because it was easier for people to commit then, and it was too difficult. We used to calendar just a few months out, and it was much harder to calendar for the actual members. So I think that's basically how we arrived on, picking any day. It didn't matter, we thought Thursdays probably were easier if you're traveling on either end than the Friday afternoon. But I think it was just a matter of trying to schedule a year in advance so that members clearly could mark their calendar in terms of when they were, and our commissioners as well. So one of the challenges is we meet on Thursdays, the CPUC, and the CEC generally has their business meetings on Wednesdays. Please tell me if I'm wrong, anyone from the CEC. And so basically those days are difficult to have any, the commissioners attend and things like that if they're on those days. So I think it was kind of the Monday, Tuesday, or Friday were the days where we wouldn't run into that. And our meetings, our commission meetings are a bit irregular. Some months we have 3, some months we have 1. We usually have 2, but so I think it was just challenging to do Thursday, Wednesday for commission engagement, but yeah.
Thank you. I guess maybe we could possibly consider holding like a primary day and a backup day just in case the primary day doesn't work as an option or something, like a mixed approach.
Thanks, Elena. I'll turn it to Andres.
Yeah, I like the idea of maybe opening it to having a couple of days be option per month or whatever, maybe a discussion on that. I also would want to bring up the conversation of potentially, I don't know, maybe once or twice a year, try and doing the meeting on an evening or on a Saturday to help it also make it accessible for, folks who may want to participate during business hours but don't have the capacity to do so. I know we talked about that in the past before as a way to, make the meetings accessible to stakeholders. So I just something I wanted to put out there. See if the members are open to something like that. I'm not saying do it every time, obviously, right? Maybe we do it, like I said, only once or twice this year, just to try it out to see how much if that increases participation. And I know it's also hard on the CPUC and CEC side, so I don't know the feasibility of that, but I think it's something we should consider. I did want to note, because I remember when the meetings were quarterly, and one of the reasons we shifted away from it, we felt that a lot of things moved fast in between the quarters, and we found ourselves having to do these calls to try to keep up with things. In this way, I think we shifted to moving into do a monthly thing. So just wanted to note that.
Thanks so much. Julia? We can't hear you for some reason.
I was muted, that's why. I have some concerns about evening and weekends, just personally, and my ability to do that. And I imagine that's true for others, but I won't speak for others. And I would be willing to try it like once a year and see if it does have an impact on participation. I'd be happy to give that a try. For me, the consistency of having a set date every month for the year facilitates my participation. And if I would think I would find it really difficult to reserve 2 half days each month, or multiple days, or have that moving around. It would just, that would make it harder for me to participate. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
Thank you. I also want to acknowledge that Roger is here. So welcome, Roger. And Roger, do you have any comments on the scheduling?
No, all good thoughts, but no preferences here. Thanks.
Okay. So for this item, we don't need to do an official roll call vote. I guess I would say then, hearing everybody, would it make sense to articulate what we've talked about as potentially keeping the same schedule, third Friday of the month, for most of the months of 2024, and designating 1 month where we look at holding that meeting, either in the my recommendation would be in the early evening on a weekday. Andres, I'd like to understand a little bit more about, like, because I think the idea is a good one, and it's very possible that DACAG members might not be able to join. However, there's equally likely that some can, and that it would be a good, robust meeting. And if we think about something between the 5 and 6 p.m. hour, or the 5 and 7 p.m. hour, so something that's pretty close to the end of the workday, but that allows for public participation into the early evening. Does that sound right, Andres?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the thought process is always making it accessible for folks who may, like I said, are not accessible during business hours, right? So
right,
that 5 o'clock hour, like an hour before, an hour after, I think it's fine. Like I said, and just try it just once and see how that works. See how many members can participate. Because I know that's asking a lot of us too, right? We're working past our usual hours of business and stuff. So yeah, I'm open to however we want to pilot it out.
And then if we do that for 1 month, do you have any ideas on which one? So should we just pick one, like October? or or June, or what do you think about that?
I think it's up to us, really, right? So yeah, I mean, I guess it's more up to this general feeling from the members, right? Like, what's a month that is not as crazy as others, right? That would maybe make this a little bit more feasible. Let's just go with it.
I'm curious about staff impact and ability to do that. Yep. That sort of lead maybe with that.
So presumably this would still be a remote meeting, or would you want to do the more public meeting at this time? I mean, I think we rely on some other support staff that are outside of Energy Division. So we would have to check if we were hosting it in terms of our IT staff. We're also in an area where Urban Alchemy, which helps provide some support for public safety around our building, leaves at 7 p.m. So you would, if you're having a 4-hour meeting, you're going till 10 p.m. in downtown San Francisco. So I, you know, it's up to you, I guess, whether, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that would be fine. Maybe we can get a pay for transportation for our staff home if they don't want to take public transit or something. Because we'll, you know, we close things up and things that, yeah.
I mean, let's talk about that too, though, right? I mean, I don't know if, I think that's a daunting task, asking all of us to work till 10 on one particular day, right? Maybe we time it in a way that it ends before 7, right? So what would that be, starting at like 3?
It's a 3-hour meeting usually, so 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
This is Mona from the Energy Commission. One thing we could do is some items that are postponable, such as a minutes vote or something like that, you can push off to the, you know, next month. And so you could keep the agenda a bit shorter possibly.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's also practical for if we're trying to invite more participation by community members. Folks are not gonna want to sit through 4 hours of meeting or 3 hours of meetings, right? So, you know, maybe we think about you know, special agenda that day that's a bit shorter, right? I think that I'm open to all those kind of suggestions too.
Yeah, I mean, that particular week is a couple of weeks before the presidential election also. So I, you know, I don't know. And also it gets darker obviously in October than in July. So
maybe the summer is a better idea to do this.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, then, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, can I just quickly chime in and say, I know, you know, there was a month or two this last year that for some reason, a bunch of you, you know, weren't able to make it for one reason or another, and we canceled a meeting. So it might be best to like look at the calendar and kind of see if that happens at all this month, and maybe that's the good meeting to change. That's just a suggestion, but.
I think that's a good suggestion.
We don't gotta lock it in today, do we, Jenna? I mean, this may be something that we could revisit at future meetings.
Yeah, we don't have to take a vote. I think just coming to tacit understanding that we're okay with the current plan proceeding forward for the next few meetings, and then maybe next month decide about a July meeting in the early evening, and that's heavily focused on public input and presentations and other things that would be germane to a meeting that was geared to public, you know, public engagement and participation.
May I just add one other thing that someone commented that they need to know about in-person meetings about 2 months in advance, which I really appreciated. So it doesn't need to be today, but you know, if there's time at some point to plan out when you might want those in-person meetings, I believe that might be how greater attendance could happen at those meetings.
I guess if you are all okay with it, this I think was a good start to the discussion. I don't think we have to. I mean, it is good to get calendar holds on the calendar, Julia, as you were saying, like the forward planning enables prioritization. So we don't want it to go too far, but I think if we revisit it next month with probably more and or different DACAG members at the meeting, then plan to come to a final decision next month. That might be the way to go.
And Jenna, just one more thing. Of course, our commissions now have published their 2024 meeting schedule. So although, you know, last year we didn't know, but but we could also have staff map up, you know, when is the business meeting for the CEC and when is the business meeting for the PUC? So maybe if we do a late night meeting, doing it on a Wednesday night or something would be easier than a Friday night or something. So
I think if staff is willing to do that, that would be a great thing for us to look at for next meeting. All sound good? Okay. Any other comments from the DACAG on this one?
All right, this is Mona. I just wanted to let you guys know that the CEC does do evening events, so we would be available to do an evening event as well.
Thank you so much, Mona. Appreciate that. Okay, so then let's just make a point of adding this item to next month's agenda for continued discussion and resolution of the 2024 plan. Sound good? Okay, great. Then we are going to close out item 9 and item 10, which is the DACAG equity framework, DACAG discussion on current equity framework and possibly adopt revisions. I am going to move that. I'm going to move that item to our next meeting, primarily unless there's any opposition by the DACAG, primarily because Roman is really should be here for this discussion, and he is not here today. And so anyone, if there are any issues with that, let me know. Just raise your hand. Okay, so item 10 is moved. Moving on to item 11, which is any update regarding engagement with the Low Income Oversight Board, LIOB. And before we get into that, let me take public comment. Ling, I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
Jenna, sorry for the confusion. There's no public comment on this agenda item.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
All right. Apologies. So any LIOB comments from the DACAG? Nope. Okay, seeing none.
So
yep.
So this is Judith. I just wanted to let you know in kind of understanding the LIOB, they do meet quarterly now. That's for a full day is what is their cadence, just so you know. And I think there was this when Ling did report on the results, she said that there was some desire to maybe coordinate, have a meetings the same day or adjacent days.
Great. I think let's note that for the scheduling discussion for next month. All right, with that, I'm going to close item 11 and move to item 12, which is agency updates and announcements. And I will invite, we'll start with the California Energy Commission. Does anyone from the CEC have updates or announcements?
Hello, Jana, this is Dorothy. There's some announcements that did come through from both CEC and CPUC in the form of an email, and so everyone should have gotten that. And by everyone, I mean DACAG members should have received that. It has some updates in there, but also in chat, we're going to put some information on some upcoming workshops on the 30th. There's a staff workshop funding to support modeling and monitoring air quality and co-benefits of energy interventions to inform clean and equitable energy transition. And then we'll have a grant funding opportunity for power electronics for zero emission residential resilience. And that's going to be on February 2nd. Look out for that one. And it's going to be a phased grant funding opportunity. And then last funding opportunity to mention here is for grid supportive transition electrification. And deadlines will be listed in chat as well. Thank you. That's it for us.
This is Mona with the CEC. I believe we have Mabel Lopez online with our Fuels and Transportation Division. And Mabel, I don't know if the announcements you had were for this month or next month, so if you wanted to unmute. And then also we're joined by Commissioner Gallardo from the Energy Commission. So I just wanted to, if she wanted to make any remarks, she has her hand raised. You want to do the commissioner first?
Oh, sorry.
Commissioner Gallardo.
Oh, I just unmuted her. Apologies.
Oh, great.
There we go.
I appreciate everybody carving out a little bit of time for me here. Just wanted to basically say hello, Happy New Year.
Commissioner Gallardo, I think you're cutting out just a bit.
She's actually muted.
Oh.
I think it's
Hey,
star 9.
Apology. I just made her into a panelist. It'll probably take one moment here. Commissioner Gallardo?
All right. Well, that was fun. Basically, I just wanted to say hello and Happy New Year to everybody, and congratulations to Jana on being appointed offshore wind advisor to the governor. So I know we'll have some openings to fill, but I think it'll be really helpful to us to have Jana in the state working more deeply with us. And so, yes. And so that's about it. I just wanted to let you know I was here and say hello. I was having trouble with WebEx earlier. I joined around 2 o'clock. I don't know if that's helpful for record keeping purposes. But really excited about all the things you all are talking about, and also looking forward to in-person engagement if it works out for you. I just wanted to let you know that the commissioners, at least at the Energy Commission side, you know, we were having a conversation about how much we value all that you do for us in the state, and we thought it'd be fun to have a retreat of sorts where we could do a deep dive on some issues. The chair offered to do that at his home, and you know, just do like a little getaway to be able to talk further. We didn't talk about any kind of legal ramifications and whatnot, but just wanted to let you know that, to express how much we care and how much we do enjoy you, not just serving as you know, an advisory committee, but also being our allies, being our friends, being champions along with us, and making us better overall. So I'll leave it there so you all can get back to business. Thank you so much for all you do, again, for enabling me to speak here.
Thank you, Commissioner Gallardo. I appreciate those kind words, and thanks. I think that's a great idea. It's always good to have opportunities to do deeper dives, as long as they comport, of course, with rules and regulations. So I think there was also someone else who was going to speak. Forgive me for losing the name. The floor is still with the CEC.
Mabel Lopez from our Fuels and Transportation Division. Mabel, the floor is yours.
Great, thanks. So again, this is Mabel, the DACAG liaison for the FTD, and I have a couple of announcements. So first, both the 2023-2024 Clean Transportation Program Investment Plan Update and the revised AB 2127 EV charging infrastructure assessment will be brought to the February 14th business meeting for adoption. So thanks everyone who provided input on those projects. If you're interested in attending, the notice will be posted on the CEC events page, and that will be on February 14th. And next, we want to announce that the CEC will soon begin seeking applicants for the 2024-2027 Advisory Committee for the Clean Transportation Program Investment Plan. So this committee meets at least twice a year to provide input on California's clean transportation investments. And we're really hoping for more community-based organizations to join the committee. So please share this opportunity with anyone who might be interested. All the application details and requirements will soon be posted in the 2023-24 investment plan docket. So I can put the link in the chat. Just keep an eye out for the documents to be posted soon. And finally, we are planning a couple of workshops for late February. One is a pre-solicitation workshop to explore technical assistance concepts to help support entities that apply for ZEF infrastructure funding. And another one will be for the community benefits framework. So we did meet with a couple SME members last year to discuss this framework, and we will be incorporating that into a new funding solicitation, likely in Q2 of this year. So we're hoping to get the dates confirmed for late February. So hopefully for the next DACAG meeting, I will have some additional details. And that's all I have. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much, Mabel.
Back to
Okay,
you, Jana.
thanks so
Sorry.
much. Thanks, Dorothy. So I'll turn to the CPUC, just make sure, any updates from CPUC or announcements.
Thank you, Jenna. For CPUC, we usually send the CPUC events to CEC for a monthly announcement right after meeting. I believe Dorothy will send the newsletter. But beside that, we have one more announcement. DACAG is seeking for new members. I'm going to put the link in the chat for anyone who wants to learn more about it. And please note that the deadline for the application is end of this month, January 31st. That's it from CPUC. Thank you. Back to you, Jenna.
Actually, I have
one more comment from Judith.
Yeah, just one more opportunity here at the PUC to engage in one of our committees. This is only for those with knowledge and experience in nuclear power plants and nuclear safety issues. So we are soliciting a new member for the Diablo Canyon Independent Safety Committee. It is a 3-year term and applications are due February 12th. And there's more information on our webpage, or you can contact us if you know someone who's a nuclear safety expert. Thank you.
Judith, just a question on that. By nuclear safety expert, that means technically, like having a background in nuclear engineering, that kind of thing, or could it be someone who has done programmatic work on nuclear safety and is an expert on the context?
I think it's traditionally been someone like there's a UC Berkeley professor and things like that. I think it is focused on Diablo Canyon, so it is focused on current the technology that we have in place that may be extended for 5 years out to 2030 and operating that safely and reliably. And they have multi-day meetings. They're generally in person, and they do deep dives. So I think familiarity with NRC protocols and those sorts of things. So but you know, I look at the application and see.
Yep.
I think it is
Okay.
really the judgment, but it's not broad, it's narrow. It's our Diablo Canyon generating station. So yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. And the link's in the chat too, everybody. So I do have an announcement. I want to make sure that I again thank Commissioner Gallardo for her kind words. It's with a great deal of emotion that I want to share. I've been appointed to a new role as Senior Advisor for Offshore Wind in the Governor's Office. And as a result, I will need to step down from my role in the Disadvantaged Communities Advisory Group, which is an emotional thing. And I just want to thank my fellow members and all the staff for an incredible era of engagement. I am so honored and proud to be a part of it. And I look forward to working with you all just in a different context. So this isn't goodbye, but it's until we see each other in a different way. And as a practical matter, as I understand it, the agencies will work with the Governor's Office to fill my tribal representative seat on the DACAG as well. So I just wish from my heart all the very best for you all, and until we see each other again. And with that, I'm going to move to item 13, general public comment. And Ling, I will turn the floor over to you. Thank you.
Jenna, congratulations, but we feel very emotional here. We're missing you as well. So once again, comments are limited to 3 minutes and 1 speaker per organization. For individuals that are joining us on WebEx, go ahead and use the raise hand feature that looks like an open palm. If you are calling in, press *3 to indicate that you would like to make a comment. Let me check hands here. No hands. Anybody in the room would like to make comment?
We wish you every success, Jana, in your new role, and look forward to working side by side now.
That concludes our comments. Back to you, Jenna.
Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, so I'm not going to draw this out. We are at number 14, which is adjournment. Again, all of you have a good Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy New Year. And we'll see each other soon. We are adjourned.
Thank you, Jana. Thank you, everybody.
I wish it was a hug and emoticon.
Yeah, exactly.
Big downside to virtual meetings.